of toil and strife we waylaymen undergo, and we won't give a damn when the gales are done, how hard the winds did blow. For we're homeward bound from the Arctic ground, where the good ship towed and free, and we won't give a damn when we drink our rum with the girls of old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic grounds, rolling down to old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic ground, rolling down to old Maui.
We have been thinking for a while now how to convey the experience of pointing your bow to the west and sailing 2,200 miles across an ocean. It's ironic really, because out there we had no internet, no phones, no YouTube, nothing but expanse, our boat, each other, and 5,000 meters of water below us.
Oh, it's so deep.
It's almost like we're in the Atlantic.
And now we are trying to piece together 20 days at sea into a video which will be on the internet, on phones, and on YouTube.
One reef sail.
It's kind of difficult. Maybe for this one, turn off notifications, shut your door, and maybe your curtains, and try and submerge yourself in the experience, which was at times awe-inspiring, and other times stomach knotting. The Windex showed 45 knots. But before we get into this passage, let's head back to Mindelo in the Cape Verde Islands, where we'll be departing from. Today is the day we leave Mindelo and we cross the Atlantic. We're really excited. We all woke up before our alarms this morning and we're just waiting for a video to upload, and then we'll be off. But yeah, we're expecting it to take around 14 to 20 days. There's so many other boats ready as well. Loads are leaving today. It's a really good weather window. But yeah, it's just a really surreal feeling, just sailing out into the middle of the Atlantic. Yeah, I can't quite comprehend that yet, but we're so excited and just ready for this journey and what it's about to entail. We've been working for this for a long time, and yeah, I'm just so ready. We're bloody doing it. We really are. We're sailing across an ocean.
Alright, go on then. Yeah.
We are currently in the shadow of a big island, so we've had to put the motor on, which is really annoying. We didn't want to at all, but here we are. We literally weren't moving. We realised that we haven't done a Poseidon offering, so we've got a little bottle of whiskey. We're going to head out there and we're going to give Poseidon and Taylor a little drink, as well as, we don't drink on passage, but we might have a little sip just to finish her up. First, a bit to Poseidon. And a bit to Taylor. What, on the wheel? It's going to get sticky.
Just on the face of the mizzen, go on.
And should we have a sip each?
Yeah, little one, go on.
We'll save the rest for when we get there.
Thanks Poseidon.
Thanks Poseidon, let's cross an ocean. Before we launch in too much, you may have noticed a second crew member who you haven't seen before. This is Sonia. She was looking for a boat to cross the Atlantic, and as Hebe sadly had to fly home for work, we so happened to now have a spare bunk. So the day before we left, she moved on. It's Spontaneity at its finest.
All good?
Right, good night, my lazy sheep.
Good night. Sleep well. See you in 3 or 4 hours or whatever. Sky's definitely pretty orange from the sand, isn't it? Here?
But it's so dirty. The whole pilot house is just covered in just like...
Saharan sand.
We have planned this passage a lot, but now it's time to sink fully into the rhythm of life on the ocean. Aside from reefing early and often,
One reef sail.
and not pushing our boat, we were in a marathon and not a sprint after all. We were just following our compass and harmonising with the weather.
Oh, a big one!
Whoa! Bloody hell, it's massive! Zach, that's the biggest fish we've got!
Crazy. Well done, guys.
There you go.
Nicely done.
Right.
Sorry, fish.
Tilly tribe. Oh my god.
I don't know if we'll be able to save it.
It's looking
Oh no.
very
It smells like
gone
alcohol.
off. Yeah, kind of looks soft and mangled.
That's definitely off. But look, we're going to try and... let me just try and save the melon. The fruit has radically gone off.
That'll be right, we can say the rest of that.
Oh, that looks okay.
Yeah, it smells fine. Just get rid of that.
So we've got a melon.
Crushed bit.
Okay.
Right, we'll have an
Are you sure?
But we have not got a pineapple.
The pineapple is fully off.
Sad pineapple.
It's so heavy because it's so soggy.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. No, it's good. That's decent. It's good.
Today was just from a dream, from an absolute dream. We woke up this morning, Zach started cooking the mahi mahi up in a fish pie, a really homely, cheesy fish pie. We enjoyed that for lunch. We saw a whale, can't even believe it, just a huge fin out the water.
Saw again.
You did?
I'm not even joking. The same distance as we saw the second
Really?
time. I'm not even joking. Big black dorsal fin.
We're not sure whether it was a humpback or I don't know what it was, but that was a crazy experience. And then we sung some sea shanties. Sonia's brought her little guitar with her. I mean, she was teaching us how to play it. And then we went for a swim. We dropped the sails and hopped in 5,000 meters of water.
I'll look for orcas first, yeah?
Yeah.
Orca check.
And great white check, please.
And megalodon.
Pretty much everything. Just if there's something swimming. Oh, they suit you. Look at that.
Oh, it's so deep!
It's almost like we're in the Atlantic.
Oh, she's going.
Bye!
Hold on, Becca, please.
I am. Come to the fender with me and then back.
No.
Really? Come on, please!
That's like the end. Greg, if we let go of that,
We're not gonna
we're
let
going to
go of
turn
that.
around. Right,
No.
go on then, you go first.
Okay.
You've got this.
Come on, come with me.
They're raising like little children.
It was so warm, it wasn't scary at all, and I put on Sonia's mask and looked down and it's just so blue. It was honestly the colour of my trousers down there, just glowing. I thought it would be really dark and pitch black, but no, it was glowing blue, but nothing, couldn't see anything, no fit, nothing. That was an incredible experience, and I had a little shower in there, and yeah, skinny dip, really good. And then we hopped out, we had some ramen. No, it's just an amazing day. Amazing, amazing, amazing New Year's Day.
Each day before the sun sets, after a day of sailing, what I like to do and what most people should do if they're doing Atlantic crossings, they should go around the whole boat and do like kind of a little rigging check, make sure there's no like broken turnbuckles or split pins missing or damaged or just wear and tear, because I mean when you've got the sails out for 24 hours a day, things do get damaged, things do wear, and yeah, we just need to check for chafing and stuff like that and just make sure tonight nothing's going to fail on us from something we haven't picked up in the day. So I'm going to do that right now. If you notice with our standing rigging here since we started the crossing, there's been a really high amount of salt build up on here, and we've put these light tubing isn't it, on here just to stop our sheets and other lines from chafing on these, because we've noticed that although the metal is pretty smooth, after a while of rubbing it still does chafe the lines a little bit, and so we've put these on here. But the issue with these is that at the bottom here, salt tends to build up quite a lot, and obviously salt isn't great for corrosion, all that kind of stuff. So whenever we come past here and see a lot of salt on them, you can't see it at the moment, we kind of tend to pour a little bit of water on there, clean them all off, and to make sure it's not building up too much on these, because obviously these are quite important for keeping our mast up. I actually just noticed something at the top of our main sail here. One of these, like a sail guiders, I'm sure there's a proper name for it, and the second one from the top has come off. I'm not overly concerned about that, but what we'll do tomorrow is we'll drop the sail later on and put a new one of these on, because we've got loads of these. But if it was a bigger bit of the sail that it was on, so like one of these, I would 100% just get it down and put a new one on. But as it's right at the top, not too much force pressing on that, because it's quite a small sail area. So we'll fix that when we get the sail down next. I'm not overly concerned about it, but
Good spot though.
yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. But that's why we do rig checks.
Yeah.
To see stuff like that.
Woohoo! This is literally one of the best moments of my life. We're in the middle of the Atlantic and dolphins are surrounding our boat. Yoo-hoo! Oh, I feel on top of the world. This is how you have a social meal on a rolly yacht.
You just cram everything in.
Zach, what mileage are we at?
1,055.
Which is?
I think halfway.
Oh, you don't think? It is halfway.
It is halfway.
Yay! Give me a high five. Halfway across the Atlantic. High five. High five. Matt, if you're awake. No. That's a pretty cool feeling. Pretty cool feeling. Yeah, we've been going for 10 days and haven't quite finished our top water tank, which is
200 litres.
Our bottom one technically, which is 200 litres. So yeah, we've been going very well on that. And
We've got another 300.
we're all
plus
parched and
another one.
dehydrated. Zach doesn't let us drink anything. No, I'm kidding.
I turn it off.
Turn it off between the hours of 11 AM and 12 PM.
You're gonna get an hour of water.
I know. Oh. First hair wash in 10 days and it feels wonderful. I've just made brownies because we need to celebrate in some way, so brownies it is, and they are looking gooey, which is very exciting. Just gotta try not to burn myself, get them out. Cheers.
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 Cheers, Sonia. Cheers. Cheers. Halfway across the Atlantic. Oh yeah. We need a plate.
Oh, it's so good.
There's more washing up.
So the time is now 7:08 and I have just gone to my night shift, but I am wearing my full-on wet weather gear, probably overdressed, but I don't really want to be caught out at night and be out here and soaking, because it happened to Matt and Sonia the other night where they got caught out and they got soaked. But the wind's kind of like a 15 knots behind us. Waves are kind of a bit more beam on. We're trying to head up to our original course so then we can bear off when bigger winds and waves come in the next few days. Yeah, all is good on board. I actually received an email from my mum today via our Iridium and it almost made me cry. I'll read it out to you. Hi Becca, Happy New Year to you, Zach, Matt and Sonia. A bit about home and what's been happening there. She'd sent the news, the top 10 things you need to know on the 3rd of January. And I know Zach likes to hear a bit about that. I'm a bit of the opposite. I don't like to hear what's happening, but each their own. And then she also wrote me a beautiful poem. I'll read it out because, yeah, she won't mind. She said, I woke to the hooting of the neighbourhood owl at 3, when my thoughts turned to you sailing across the Atlantic Sea. I opened my bleary eyes. Pitch darkness and stillness surrounds. Is it the same where you are, without sight of land nor barely any sounds? I dream I'm sailing on Taylor with you, Zach, and your lovely crew, gentle waves lulling, gazing in awe at the starry sky and the gentle covering of the night dew, soaking up the tranquility, enjoying every precious second, spellbound by the magic and lure of the glassy sea that beckons.
It's about 5:30 in the morning, but we've been hit by loads of squalls tonight. Matt and Sonia's shift, they got absolutely soaked for most of it. I'm lucky so far I haven't had any rain, but it's been picking up quite a bit and gusting a lot. We've got our main fully reefed at the moment, and our Genoa is fully reefed as well, but we're still doing like 5.5 knots easily. But the autopilot seems to be doing really well at the moment, and yeah, we're making good progress, but it's a bit of a intense night, kind of keeping an eye on the weather constantly, waiting for another squall to roll through.
The thing about the ocean is that one day you can have all your sails up, bobbing along on a flat sea, cooking full meals and reading book upon book. And the next day, you can be sailing under head sail, hurtling down waves, and just trying to get by. The first half of the passage was pretty plain sailing, but now the training wheels were off and the ocean was seeing what we were made of. In the morning, and oh my gosh, last night was so restless. The wind picks up to like pretty steady 25 knots, which should be fine, but the sea state was just like a washing machine. I think like the stronger trade winds coming through just created this like whirlpool, and the autopilot was just surfing every which way, and just, yeah, it's just a lot of hand steering was done. The whole night was just lying awake, like hearing the boat round up, and yeah, we finally got it sorted, pretty much sorted, by really heavily reefing the jib and words not making sense, yeah, just by reefing the jib and adjusting the rudder sensitivity on our autopilot. But yeah, it was a really sleepless night, knackered, but only an hour till the sun comes up, and tomorrow's a new day, and the next 5 days are going to be really high winds, 30 plus. It'll be right. It will be right. Even the worst weather, which isn't even the worst weather, it's just higher winds, passes, and yeah, it'll be fine. At least we'll have a fast trip, I guess. Maybe head a little bit downwind if you can, Matt. Yeah, just a tiny bit. Yeah, that's... yeah, nice.
It's like going down into the abyss. What is happening here now? This is sailing. This is great.
You're doing a great job.
This is so cool.
We're at the tail end of the school now. It's still pretty hectic out there, but I'm just coming for some cereal. But I think I'm ready for these schools to end for a little bit. Pretty exhausting. But there you go. One of the highs and lows of sailing, eh? How's it out here?
Windy. It's getting up to
Getting to 30 something meters.
yeah.
37?
30 something.
Oh.
30, 31.
Yeah, we let out a tiny bit more to see if it would help us like go down, because we're still not those like first two reefs anyway.
Yeah.
The waves are the worst though. You can deal with the wind, but there's like 3 different swells coming in different directions. Just went through another big squall. That one went on for like 40 minutes and the wind speeds were like 38 knots, I think. But it's starting to die down now. I've just come inside to grab some cereal because I haven't eaten breakfast yet, and yeah, that's where we're at. Pretty exhausted, but hopefully they start dying down and we have a really pleasant night. That's the goal. 11 schools in, kind of ready for a little break in the schools maybe. That would be pretty nice. We've got sustained 27 knot gusts overnight though. So if I expect schools overnight of like 35-40 knots, then I can only be pleasantly surprised. So yeah, but we're still on our way to the Caribbean, so there's that.
now we're at 320, so it's really shifted round. We just put another reef in the Genoa and we put another reef in the main, just to be on the safe side. Don't know if you can see it kind of over me. Don't think it's a big school, but there's more over here. So we'd always rather just go sailing inside. So it's, I'm not even really sure the date, but it's a Monday, I think, and we are about 970 miles away from Antigua, and the sea state is a washing machine, and we have been caught in a school line for like the last at least 12 hours. It's been pretty relentless. We've had 10 schools between 4 PM and 9 AM this morning, so yeah. Yeah, we ended up dropping the main very quickly overnight, then sailed under reefed head sail, and we were just reefing it, unreefing it, reefing it, unreefing it. Got it to the slither up points, had torrential downpours. I'm still in my full gear from overnight. It's like 9:30, 10 at the moment, but yeah, we're just skirting the side of another big one. But yeah, it's pretty relentless out here, but it could be worse, and we're all feeling happy still. Zach's just napping because his night shift ended up being about 6 hours long. It'll be quite nice when this passes, because then we can just all relax and hang out a bit more. It'll be nice when the sun comes out. So yeah, anyway, the autopilot alarm's going off and I need to go tend to that. So yeah, catch you in a bit.
About 5 till now, and it's like 7:30, I guess. Now I don't really know. I had 4 schools. One of them went well over 40.
Really?
Yeah, like 45 knots.
Oh my god.
Really blowing one of them.
45 knots on there?
Sorry?
45 knots on there?
Yeah, no, it was hitting 39 on there, and I knew I was probably doing about 6 knots now.
Oh my gosh.
With the wind, even with a tiny head sail out. And then that last one was just rain for like an hour.
Really?
And then the 2 before it was kind of like 30 plus knots. That first one was really strong.
Zach, does it feel alright?
Yeah, it felt fine. I really reefed it in, and then the subsequent ones after it, I had even smaller slither out.
Yeah. Good job.
I'm hoping that's most of them for now, but you can see it's just black here front.
These schools have eventually died down from 4 AM pretty much until, let's say, 1:30, 2 PM today. We just were in a line of schools, like one after the other. It wasn't even clear where one started and the other ended. It actually got up to force 9, so we had 45 knots gust at us at one point. It was over really quickly, but yeah, the Windex showed 45 knots, which was windy, and actually that happened twice, and also on Zach's shift. So yeah, the boat handled it really well. We had literally a slither of head sail out, just enough to keep steerage. The waves picked up, but the waves almost flattened. It was the most bizarre thing. at like 35 knots. The sea state was really like steep waves and we were surfing down them. Actually got a max speed of 12.9 knots. That's when we reduced sail even further because we don't want to be going fast down waves at all, because that's when you lose control. But yeah, it dropped down, and then what happened was we went slower down the waves, and because we were going a bit slower wave, actually the first ever wave for us broke over our cockpit. Luckily it only sprayed all of this area, but it reached the solar panel. It kind of, so at that point we let out a bit more head sail and we went a bit faster, going at an angle down the waves, so we weren't just hooning down them with a risk of broaching or anything. So yeah, we handled it. It was a bit spicy at times. Didn't get much footage because in that moment you were just getting through it, but no, happy they kind of, fingers crossed, gone for a little bit. They're not scary, they're just exhausting. Like, we're all pretty tired. You have to hand steer because the autopilot can't keep up with the big waves and wind, and yeah, luckily we managed to skirt around most of them. I know the big ones we got well off the centre, but we still had 45 knots, so I can't imagine what the centre was like, but I'm glad we didn't find out.
The thing is, I'm currently reading A Voyage from Madman, and it's talking about the Golden Globe races, and there was a sentence, and then he finally had the weather that was expected for his Southern Ocean passage of the Roaring 40s, which was a gale force wind of 45 knots. And we were like, wait.
Yeah. Wait, that's what we've just done on our first Atlantic crossing.
Now we checked.
Fun. Yeah.
In here,
Yeah.
and found that we had like 10 before with squalls up to
Gusting.
almost 10.
Yeah, 10 is 48 knots and we had 45 knots, and it was a solid wind speed of 35 knots, gusting higher. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we're all pretty happy that they've died down now, but we got through it, and I'd like to think we're now slightly better sailors than we were before.
I think we handled the weather part. 'Cause
Yeah.
after very careful study of the weather book we have on board, we can now
point out some
say with
clouds.
confidence that is a cloud. It
Yeah.
means either there's a storm or there's calm weather coming or nothing, and that very fast.
Literally, we took turns reading the weather book and all came to the conclusion that for every time there could be a cloud, it could either mean something good or it could mean something bad. So
Or nothing.
Yeah, literally. So we end up just giving up with that. If there's wind, we reef. If there's no wind, we let out sail. That's what it's come to now.
And as quick as the bad weather had come, the calm returned. And aside from the lack of sleep and one broken door,
So what are you up to?
I fell backwards through this door, breaking off the little metal clip on here, so I'm just hammering some tacks in as a very temporary fix until we get to the other side and we can buy a new one of these or something. But I fell out of there and landed on the chair where Becca's sitting at the moment.
Why?
There's a big wave. Absolutely sent me flying.
You broke the door.
Yeah, so I'm hoping this will hold. It should do.
we had a newfound sense of confidence in both our boat and ourselves, which would stay with us for a very long time.
It feels really good to get the main back up after the last, I think, 4 days of it being down. We're a lot less rolly and a lot more balanced, and yeah. Hi. It's now Wednesday and I have just taken over from Zach's shift. It's about 7:30 in the morning. We're fully canvassed right now for the first time in what feels like forever. As you know, we've just had constant schools for the last 6 days and it's been really tiring, but we're touch wood out of the worst of it. Zach did see one school last night, but he slowed the boat down to like 1.5 knots and it passed us by, so we didn't get in the middle of that one, which is really nice. But yeah, feeling really happy. It's a beautiful morning, it was a beautiful night. I saw shooting stars, I looked through the binoculars and saw loads of constellations. There was a plane which really threw me off. It's a weird a weird feeling, makes you feel really small but connected at the same time. I don't know, it was a weird one. Didn't know quite how I felt about that one. Anyway, yeah, it was just a beautiful night, and then the moon slowly rose up and it was orange at first, and we had a full moon a few days ago, and the moon is slowly coming up later and later, and I was a bit worried last night about not being able to see schools because it was pitch black at first. The starlight does a good enough job because where there are stars, you know there's not clouds. So yeah, feeling so happy and refreshed, and yeah, ready for this last week sailing to the Caribbean. But this is beautiful out here, and this is, yeah, just blissful sailing, absolutely blissful sailing.
My rose today would be the sea state finally calming down and us cruising with wind at like 17 knots at most this afternoon.
The last bit of the trip was a welcome relief. We finally started our halfway hats.
Is it wibbly to be making hats? We're making halfway hats, which we were meant to do when it was, well, before it was halfway, but the weather picked up so we couldn't, and then halfway came and went, but we're not missing the opportunity, so today we are making our halfway, we're starting our halfway hats, and even if we can just do a little bit a day until we arrive, then we can have our halfway hats, so yeah. And we thought we could draw our route on, I don't know where's where.
We should be starting here.
Yeah, we should. But anyway, somewhere on someone's hat they'll have a line. Matt, how's your day been?
Pretty great.
What's that on your head?
It's my halfway, half-made hat.
Yep.
Yep.
Very good job on that. Sonia's is work in progress. We'll all look like that tomorrow.
Howdy.
Caught fish.
Go on, Zach, you've got it. Feels like a big one?
God, he's going right to the end. You've got this. No, he's running. Those muscles. Oh, the wheel.
Oh my god, he's massive. Good job.
God, he's so powerful. Oh my gosh. I have this whole muscle. That's easily the biggest fish we've ever caught.
The boys have been talking non-stop about having a fish curry for the last kind of 4, 5, 6 days. We haven't been able to put the rod in because it was a bit rough. What was he doing through the water? He was creating...
I couldn't get him to plane like the other ones I could normally get.
The other ones you can kind of pull up and plane along, so it's less drag through the water, but with him he was like diving. So yeah, good job, Zach. Wow, look at that. Feel it. Beautiful. Show me how full it is. Oh my gosh. Nice.
Embrace the heavy tropical rain.
Yeah, I got it. Where are you going? Oh, you're using the panel. I'm going for it.
You're off.
Oh, it's not even rubbing in properly.
Oh
You got like one side's rubbed in and one side's not rubbed
So
in.
you're gonna have to make the most of this.
You got this bigger.
no! Rain on me!
Okay, go on, Matt. Get involved with that. That's good. That's good.
Adequate shower.
Yeah, kind of works.
It's a bit cold now.
I was just bobbing in the cold.
Right, go on, let's throw the tent sail out again.
Yeah? Look at this. 3 Brits soaking wet and having a cup of tea. Lovely. Atlantic.
And became very excited about the prospect of reaching firm ground.
Woohoo! So today is our 15th day on the Atlantic Ocean and we are cruising along. It's actually probably one of I think so far one of the best days of sailing we've had. We're just humming along. We've got like 20 to 25 knots behind us and it's just beautiful sailing. We're actually pushing our boat a bit more now because we have like 520 miles to go. We've been sailing very conservatively up till now because we don't want to break anything or put too much pressure on our rigging, but now we can get going because the wind drops down on Sunday and we don't want a motor, so we're trying to power as much as we can, but we are hooning along. Zach's just making focaccia for the first time because our friends Amber and Minus on Choba, which is a pogo. There's some friends of ours that we met in Mindelo. They sent that over the Iridium, which is nice. They're on a crazy boat, such a small racing boat. They sit at like 11 knots, but yeah, it's a tiny boat. They don't have any doors at all on it. So we've been in close contact with them this trip because they're about 150, 200 miles behind us. So that's been nice because we can kind of tell them what they're getting weather-wise. Yeah, feeling really happy, slept well. Got 5 more days and then we'll be in. And yeah, we're just trying to, we're a little bit south of our bearing at the moment, just because of the wind and the swell, but we're trying to ease up as much as we can over the next few days. So yeah, happy days and happy days. I'm gonna get back to my book and enjoy this beautiful downwind sailing.
Wow.
Baked beans there. Heinz beans. Mushrooms?
Yeah.
Look at that. Yummy. Little life hack if you live on a boat. Wedging things in with tea towels. That's what you found, hasn't it?
Yeah. This is not something we do every day.
No, just when we're rolling. It's super helpful. We've just seen the first boat for the first time in about, what, 10 days or so, at least? 11 days. It's a big cargo ship on the horizon. That's a really, really cool feeling. We're about 450 miles away from land, so it was always going to happen getting closer, but good spot, Matt.
Well, it's quite big.
Yeah, it's quite big.
I've been looking at the same horizon for a few days now. I'm not going to miss it.
That is true. Wow. Hi.
Yeah, I wonder what they eat for breakfast.
I wonder. How's your day been?
Relaxing.
It's been really nice.
God.
We're a bit rolly.
We've been rolly for the last 2 weeks.
Had a really good day. We saw 2 cargo ships. We went on a broad reach, which was exciting, mixing it up.
Listened to lots of music.
These are the highlights of our days. We have been sewing lots as well. The sun's been out. Now we've got a beautiful sunset. We're just rolling away.
And
the Caribbean.
18 knots of wind or so.
Yeah, it's been really nice. We've been cruising at like 5.5 average knots. This morning was faster. We were sitting at like 6.5
With the
knots.
head sail fully out.
Yeah.
And then the main reefed.
Double reefed. And we're just cruising along.
400 miles to go.
401 miles to go. 401 miles to go. 401 miles to go.
Stop.
Right. That's all. Oh.
This is the stupidest thing.
Horrible.
We've changed the whisker pole over for the first time in, well, since we've left.
Yeah.
It's literally been on that side for the last like almost 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
And it's like disorientating.
Don't look at it.
We've all got busy.
Don't look.
It's really weird.
Do you feel sick?
I bet there's like a name in psychology for that or something.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't look right, does it?
That's awful.
I feel like we're going completely the wrong way now. We're going backwards.
It feels like we're joking, but it's
Since the big school stop, we'd had really shifty wind. We realised we were going north for a bit earlier in a gusty patch, so had to change that, and we went on a beam reach for a little bit, but then the sails, the waves are kind of quite persistent and the wind is quite low. We were just slapping our sails and it just wasn't great, so we've put the pole on the other side and Yeah, it's very unnerving seeing that. Are you sure the Caribbean's this way? Yeah, are you sure? Which way's up? Oh my gosh, I think we're losing the plot. Good morning, it is now day 18 of our trip and we have a 250 left.
Yeah.
And about 7 knots of wind. We're going 2.5 to 3 knots. We're just bobbing along. Last night we had the weirdest wind and weather and
Every angle imaginable.
so weird. The closer we get into the Caribbean, the more the schools are changing the complete direction of the wind. We haven't had that.
Unpredictable.
We haven't had that at all this whole trip.
Double schools, like they'll like fight out for like
The wind direction.
Or
like
they'll
last-
funnel between them sometimes.
Yeah, it's so weird.
really
It's
weird.
completely unpredictable. Last night we were sailing along happily with wing on wing and this massive dark cloud came over, like, I mean, pitch black, and suddenly the wind was like 15 knots and we were going head into it. Usually we would bear off and skirt around it and follow the squall, but it was so big and it kept going on and on and on. It already diverted course so much during the day that we decided to drop the Genoa and motor through it, which is a technique people recommend. We haven't done it at all this trip because we didn't want to motor, but I mean, like, it was literally 180 degrees. We'd be going back.
We're going to head on for it.
I think it took like 3 hours to pass and then finally the wind came from behind us again. It's been like a weird night, but the Caribbean's still that way and we're still going that way, so it's all alright. Also, guess what? We got Little Miz up again. We picked up an actual knot of speed. I think this is the first time in 3 weeks it's been up. We missed it, didn't we, Zach? And the autopilot, which we now refer to as AP because we don't like her hearing us talk about her. She's doing great, but shh, don't let her know because she'll mess it up. But no, she's holding great. We got the waves behind us. We're on a beam reach. Cruisy days, cruisy days. We're just plain sailing. Look at that, lovely blue skies. And then, boom. What is that? So sunny, lovely. Rain and wind.
At least our solar panels are still working.
That's true. What are you doing?
I'm trimming
Before land.
just before land.
Try to look presentable, eh?
I don't want to look too dishevelled by the time we get there.
This is our setup. We got the tarp going on. Sails. Mizzen up. Sewing. Shaving.
Everything's happening today.
Everything is happening today. It's
All go on Haley.
all go. It's our last night on Taylor for, well, no, it's not our last night on Taylor at all. It's our last night on the crossing as we arrive in tomorrow evening, and we have about 107 nautical miles to go. And I expected to feel really excited at this point and ready for land and ready for everything and a new place, but it feels really nostalgic and pretty sad that our first ocean crossing has nearly come to an end. And now we'll look back on this time fondly, and yeah, these will be the good old days. And
It'd be good to have a proper shower.
it will be really nice to
to
have a
shower.
yeah, like oh yeah, we made some halfway hats. I stitched the crossing line in the inside of Zach's hat from where we went. But yeah, tomorrow we reach land, and I keep joking that imagine if in 107 nautical miles we just get there and there's nothing there, which would just be really funny. But well, it won't be actually. It really won't be. Yeah, nearly crossed an ocean. Nearly crossed an ocean.
Yeah.
I wish I had Europe
Sick.
somewhere on there because then I could have mapped the whole Mediterranean. But
Can I see it?
Yeah, you
So
can see
sick.
it. Do I see it on my head?
really
or do I
nice.
see it like this.
It's really nice, and on your head.
Right.
360 there.
And you've got your route around it, yeah?
I've got my route around it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
My route around it is there.
That's so cool.
But it's kind of the only place where we actually have a crossing is this little bit.
One day though, one day it will be like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
all
day.
over. Squiggles. How's your hat, Matt?
Mine is being perfected by the lovely.
Yeah.
I did. I
Down there at the
was pretty
moment.
proud of it. I was pretty proud of what I did.
Yeah, it's the effort that counts, Matt.
Exactly. I started it. Rose, the morning with Becca. That was, we just had a very peaceful, did nothing, looked at the horizon morning. Thorn, if it is not catching a fish, it's going to be not finished with my own hand. But I'm also happy that professionals taken over.
Rose, it's just been an all around really nice day out here. Oh, I finished my hat. Now I can think of other things again. Thorn, probably that we're only out here for another day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've already sound about it.
But the names sound completely different if you pronounce them in German. Oh, 99!
Ah!
I thought it was 999.
Yeah, 999 miles to go, 999 miles. So I just finished my last night shift and it doesn't really feel real. It's felt a really long time till land until now when it's just suddenly like, whoa, it's just there. But it's just the most beautiful night of just the most amazing stars. There's a warm 15 knots behind us and I was like, oh yeah, this is it, this is it. Like, oh, bloody doing it, we were bloody doing it. I'm actually quite sad, I don't want it to end really. But yeah, I had a cargo ship to get within 600 meters of us, so that wasn't quite so fun, but yeah, I had to alter course and drop off some sails on my shift, but which I shouldn't have had to do because, you know, it's a cargo ship, but I did, just to be safe than sorry. But yeah, 83 miles to go. Hey, I see land! Frank, again!
Oh, you're so funny!
No, I can see land.
Really?
I can see land, yeah. 100%.
See? I knew it!
100% I can see land. 100%.
No, he's grinning too much.
Yeah!
Oh my God, yeah!
There is actually land there!
Me too! Under the big
That's what I
cloud.
saw!
No!
Yeah.
No
That's
way.
Antigua.
That is Antigua. Look. It's not very tall.
Very faint, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's land!
still,
Oh
it's
my
still a
god!
long middle.
Oh my gosh!
Bit emotional, that is.
Ages, because I was like,
Well, we can officially see land. The first time in 20 days. Really cool feeling. Very faint. I saw it first, technically, just saying. Wow, we did something right. We didn't miss it, sail through the Panama Canal by accident and end up in the Pacific, so that's the result. Wow, we're in the Caribbean.
Jeez. Put our feet up.
Bloody did it. So Matt has pressed up through the whole Atlantic and he has 115 left to go, but he has done basically a press up every single mile for the entire trip. So in total after today it will be 2,111 press ups he's done over the last 20 days. How cool is that? Good on you, Matt. It makes it significantly harder when the boat is rolling.
Yeah.
One way's easier, one way's harder.
Life full of toil and strife, we will not undergo. And we won't give a damn when the gales are done. How high the winds did blow. For homeward bound from the Arctic night, where the cruise ships rolled and free. And we won't give a damn when we drink our rum with the girls of old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, boys rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic lands, rolling down to old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, boys rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic lands, rolling down to old Maui.
Wow. Across the ocean.
We did.